Now back to New Jersey. Some of you may have seen images like these, pictures like these. My aunt saw them too. Homes completely destroyed, entire towns enveloped in sand. Now my aunt saw these, but what she couldn't figure out is if her own house looked like this. Days after the hurricane, and she still didn't know if she had a home to go home to. So how do we get people this kind of information? And how do we get it to them quickly? Pictures are not enough. We need remotely sensed imagery, and we need it before, during, and after, so that we can manage the ever-changing landscape. To show us the transformational power of imagery as a part of the platform, please welcome Vinay Vishwambaran.
Thanks, Lauren. I've spent a significant part of my life in Dubai, and the change that I've seen over the past decade is phenomenal. Now, I'd like to quantify some of that change. So to start with, here's a map of Dubai. It contains recent Landsat imagery. Using the time slider, I can step back in time to 1975, when all of Dubai was really just a small coastal town. As we step through time, in 1990, you can see there's significant urban growth. The airports have expanded, the industrial areas have developed, and so on. By the year 2000, there's an increase in vegetation. We can switch to the vegetation analysis view, which enhances this even more. By the year 2005, there's massive coastal development with large man-made islands built out into the Gulf. And by the year 2010, this coastal development is increased, and so has the urban growth. Now, to really quantify this change, I have this GP tool within my web application, which lets me specify an area of interest, my years of interest, and it dynamically computes statistics and reports and returns a graph which clearly indicates 1975 Dubai was pure barren land for my given area of interest. 2000, there's an increase in urban growth by about 2.9 square kilometers. And by the year 2010, you can see there's a spike in urban growth, an increase in vegetation, and interestingly, there's a dip in water bodies. Now, this is primarily because of the development of the Palm Islands. So what's the basis of this web application? 1, the World Landsat Services. 2, server-based dynamic classification. And lastly, integration of geoprocessing services with my web application. So I'd like to show you how all of this fits together in Desktop 10.1. So to start with, let's get on to ArcGIS Online. Search for Landsat resources that are available. This returns a list of the newly added Landsat image services. They're multi-temporal, multi-spectral image services that are based off of the GLS data provided by the USGS. It contains the newly added Epoch 2010 imagery, and it's radiometrically enhanced. They can be added and consumed directly within Desktop. And one of the services that exhibits a capability of ArcGIS 10.1, wherein a single service, image service endpoint can include multiple products. Such as in this case, I could pick my vegetation analysis product. This gives me a vegetation enhanced view of my Landsat imagery. We can now navigate over to Dubai. Using the image analysis window from within Desktop, I can make additional enhancements, such as the dynamic range adjustment. And like in my web application, using the time slider, I can step through time and visualize change. In ArcGIS 10.1, we've added server-based dynamic supervised classification based off of pre-created signature files. Shuhada, I'll show you. I'll break it down for you. So here's my local server. It's hosting my local image service. The service references the same Landsat imagery which you just saw. Difference being I have additional products. So for instance, I could pick my classified land-water interface product, which basically delineates my land from water. Optionally, I could extend my analysis to 4 unique classes. So I pick the product, hit OK. Watch as my table of contents is now updated with 4 unique class values. That's dynamic supervised classification. Now you can use these services directly within my GP tool. Just like in my web application, I specify my layer, specify my area of interest, my different time periods. As I run the tool, the GP tool makes multiple requests to the same service for multiple time periods. The server dynamically processes my imagery, classifies my imagery, and returns reports, which lets me better understand change. Now, I've shown you analysis and classification of change at a city scale. I want to characterize change at a finer level of detail. And to do that, I need some high-resolution imagery. So here's a worldview scene over the area of Dubai. I received it as raw, unprocessed TIFF files on disk. One of the biggest improvements we've made in ArcGIS 10.1 is the system leverages the meta information that's provided and automatically defines products. So as I drag my pan-sharpened product into map, the system auto-rectifies, pan-sharpens, and creates a visually good-looking product on the fly. Now this is the Burj Khalifa, the tallest building in the world. And mashallah, it's an amazing structure, and that's some beautiful imagery to complement it. But that's obviously not the most intuitive view of the tallest building in the world. Leveraging the sensor model information, you can now rotate the view, get a better perspective. We've improved the analytical capabilities of ArcGIS even more. You can now make measurements of your imagery. You can base it off the sensor geometry from the bottom of the building to the top of the building, or you can make shadow-based measurements from the tip of the spire to the tip of the shadow. When characterizing change, you typically work with historical imagery. And working with historical imagery, you commonly face a problem wherein your imagery doesn't line up. So here's an older scene over the area of Dubai. Let's navigate over to another area wherein our change is not quite obvious, but our problem with the imagery misalignment is a lot more evident. You can see that the roads don't quite line up. ArcGIS 10.1 can fix this. We have this, what I call my magic button. Let me hit it, and I'll tell you what it does. You're going to like this. So the system is computing tie points between the old and the referenced images. It's adjusting the images to fit automatically. Now, this works great for the kind of imagery that I'm working with and the kind of workflows that I'm working with that's dealing with historical imagery and temporal imagery. And like I said, it's a very simple workflow. You pick your 2 images, you hit the button, no picking tie points, control points, checkpoints, just like that. It fits. Basita. Automatic georeferencing. We can now navigate back over to the Burj and compare the 2 scenes. And in 10 years, that is a lot of change. But if you notice, much of the change is tall buildings, a lot of vertical growth. And vertical growth equates to massive change in floor space area. To compute change in terms of floor space area, you need to measure building heights. So as I zoom out to the extents of Dubai, that's a lot of data collection that I need to do and a larger collection of images that I need to deal with. So here's where the Mosaic dataset comes in. The Mosaic dataset lets me manage large volumes of imagery. It processes my imagery dynamically on the fly. So as I zoom in, My imagery is dynamically processed, it's orthorectified on the fly, and it's mosaicked dynamically. And it's fast. As I zoom out to the extents of the Middle East, that's 2,500 GOI scenes, 2.5 terabytes of imagery that's being processed on the fly. So I've shown you all of this functionality in Desktop 10.1. But ArcGIS, it's a system, which means I could wrap all of this functionality into a rich, focused web application, and I can crowdsource my data collection task to a larger group of people. So here's my web application hosted on my ArcGIS Online account. It lets me measure building heights and other building attributes. Just like in Desktop, from the tip of my building to the tip of the shadow, the server returns a height. I can then attribute and update my building height. Now, image services, like all of ArcGIS, is time aware. So as I step through time, you can see 2009 was the first time this building was sited. On the right-hand tab, I have statistics, I have reports. So how much has the city grown? How much has the city changed? The city has changed a lot. With 96% of buildings captured, my increase in floor area is approximately 190 square kilometers. But why just stop at numbers, statistics, and reports, when I can actually use all of this information and I could show you what the city looks like? And here's the beautiful city of Dubai at night. Thanks, Lauren.
Thanks, Vinay. Now, Dubai may not have experienced a major hurricane, but imagery provided a powerful tool for monitoring the incredibly changing landscape.